Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show. Welcome to part 3 of the Dungeon Dwellers Kickstarter review. You know what they say, save the best for last. In my humble opinion, this is easily my favorite part of this particular role-playing game. You know, ever since I was a little kid, drawing monsters of my own. You know, what can I say? This one, a lot of old favorites, but there's a whole lot of new stuff going on here. Right off the bat, absolutely lovely interior of this book, between the art, the pages, the layout, all that. A whole lot of info I wish every other monster manual, especially the old ones that I use, would have had, you know, including, you know, right off the bat, talking about the myth of the balanced encounter and tweaking the monsters in ways you can do so with advice here and there, navigating the stat blocks, what the stat blocks are. Joe, is this the artwork from one of the old Heritage miniature box sets? Because if so, I actually have a couple of copies of this box set. I think it's like second, third, or fourth level monsters. The little white boxes, not the big green ones. I've got both. But so right off the bat, we're going to go over what the stat blocks are. Actually, before we get there, let's talk about something that I thought was awesome. Each monster kind of has a role. Kind of goes along with the video this morning, but I'm talking about the character roles. He's talking about the monster roles, and I never thought about it like this, but I'm going to start doing so. Imagine each of the monsters, whatever monster it is, it actually has a stat that sort of dictates its role. For the emissary monsters that are emissaries, you know, for other monsters, wisdom is their prime attribute, if you will. The marauder, the ravagers, that sort of thing, obviously it's strength. The sneaks, the goblins, the kobolds, things like that, dexterity obviously is their prime, if you will. The schemer, intelligence. The seducer, charisma, and there are quite a few that fall under that. And then the tyrant is a constitution, if you will, based creature. Now I'm going to go by the Ankag, which is the first monster, and I'm not going to go with every monster in here because one, it would take forever, like hours, because there's so many great tweaks on these monsters. But I actually learned a lot more about the mechanics of the game by reading this book than the other books, because it put it in a format that was really easy to digest. And if you're only going to buy like one book, if you could, for whatever reason, only buy one of the three, I would actually recommend this one because you'll get more use out of it, you know, in all the other games that you play, because there's so many great takes on old monsters as well as some new things. But as I'll get into after this section, there's also a lot of other really cool stuff packed into this. But you've got, for your stat blocks, you've got the creature type, the subtype, the frequency, how often it'll appear, the hit dice, and here's one of my favorite parts. It's not, everything is not just a D8. Some monsters are D4s, you know, but some are D6s, D8s, D10s, D12s, that sort of thing, so that you got a much wider range. And because combat is not based on the hit dice, so to speak, it kind of is, where it's their fighting ability is fair, good, or I forget the other, like really good, let's say. And they get +1, 2, or 3 per hit die to hit, trying to beat the ascending armor class, roll a 20 and add that number. and sometimes they get bonuses for stats as well. So this is, very much like, well, you get this, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You get strength bonuses to hit, they get strength bonuses to hit. You get dexterity modifiers to armor class, so do they. It's not just based on what their skin is like and run with that. The number of attacks, their defense, which, basically 20-sided die you need to hit. For an ANKEG, it's 13. But then it tells you +1 for dex, +2 natural. So you understand where their armor class is coming from. It's just a simple thing, but it really does kind of play into helping you understand how and why things are done the way they are. The movement, whether it's got special movements and what the movement is in feet, the size, small, medium, large, that sort of thing. The proficiency bonuses, if they try to do something, what the number is they get on a d20 to try to do the thing besides eat you. The proficiency saves, kind of like the Prime Rex, like in C&C and things like that. Then their abilities, it actually goes and tells you what all their stats are. Mind you, most of the monsters in this book are a 2-page affair. It's not like, a 4 per page like the original Monster Manual when they could, try to get as many on a page. No, this will you're getting a lot of information. But a lot of times in here, like for the ANKEG, there's 4 different kind and 4 different stat blocks all lined out horizontally. And then it goes into things like the ecology or the societies of the creatures and their abilities and all kinds of different little nuggets. A lot more information. It frustrated me to no end. Arduin did this as well. The text was, like this much of cool stuff. Everything else was just mechanics. Well, I want the cool stuff. And one of the things Joe did in here, there's at least 2 examples, I'll show you, in this scroll-like section right here, of how and why you might want to use this in an encounter. I'll read this one, but there's much better. It's an ANKEG. I mean, how many times do you use those? I think I've used it like twice in 45 years. A party of well-known adventurers has gone missing. After some searching, 2 of them are found sitting on a pile of rocks surrounded by fields of tall grass. They're hungry and thirsty, but vigorously ward off anyone who approaches. Several ANKEGs lurk below ground nearby, ready to attack anything stepping foot in the grass. That's kind of cool, a built-in encounter with all the situational trappings and everything you need to know. Tremors, right? And throughout the book, there's multiple situations like that with the different examples and all kinds of lore, the ecology and how they behave and why they do things. Sometimes even how they're created, like the deadly arachno assassin, one of my favorite new monsters. I'm going to be using those on someone real soon, just because it's freaking awesome. While it may not be super gonzo, super world-breaking power, there's still a lot of interesting little nuggets in this book, and new looks at a lot of our old favorites. Even the Beholder, as it were, they made it their own, and it's far more disgusting than I would have put on paper. So well done, Joseph. That was awesome. I really enjoyed this book. The Shadow, of course, is just like, oof, yeah. Not going to be the same wimpy little 2-hit die creatures going forward, are they? No. But that's what I got for you guys this morning. A lot of fun. Definitely a well put together book with not just the outside, the cover and the art and the construction. Again, bookmark, gotta love that. But everything inside it is definitely a breath of fresh air compared to a lot of the game books I've read recently. C&C and Dragon Slayer, just not as there's just not as much love for the monsters. It's pretty cut and dry, kind of dry and boring reading. But good job, Joe. We'll see you soon, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back later, about 45 minutes from now, for the Hump Day edition of Second Breakfast. Hope you guys are having a great week. It was 104 all day today, so I'm going to go take the third shower of the day. I will see you guys later. Till then, happy trails.